No music, no intro, no bullshit, no Adam. But we got Wolf here. How you doing, Ryan?
What up, brother? Glad to be here, man.
So this is gonna be the first video that goes up on the new YouTube channel, Ranting and Raving. Uh, it's gonna be a bunch of different topics: sports, politics, history, terminology,
Oh,
culture, a whole lot of nerd shit, anime, cartoons, video games. Like if I got an interest in it, I'm about to talk about it. But I had to have the first video be at least part of the Saints Twitter podcast because, like I told you off air, y'all a big part of why I'm doing this. You guys being authentic and real about shit got me back into wanting actually to make some content. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk some Saints, and unfortunately for the content world, but unfortunately for my goddamn liver, um, this drunk ass football team is giving us a lot to talk about. And I know you and Adam already talked a lot about the Deshaun stuff. And I'm not going to drag us too much into that. There's plenty of other stuff to talk about. But I had a couple of things that I did want to put out there and a perspective. I do want to share. I want to get your thoughts on it, but it's a perspective that it really bothers me that doesn't get put out there and contextualized enough. And here's where I'm coming from. So obviously, you guys said your piece. Number one, I'm just gonna put this out there from the beginning. I agree with everything you guys have said about this. I've been vocal about it on Twitter, vocal about it pretty much everywhere I can be. Like the dude did some scumbag shit. I want to look myself in the mirror and feel good about me. So I don't want him on my team. It's that simple. But there's also a dialogue around this situation that really bothers me. So obviously I know
yes.
the guy's quotes get taken out of context very intentionally and very frequently, but Dr. King had a great quote about, the biggest enemy to progress, I'm paraphrasing, is it's the white liberal who does nothing. It's oh, I agree, y'all have fun with that. And I'm paraphrasing and I'm taking that out of context a little bit, but here's why I want to bring that up, because it has a lot to do with this Deshaun case, because what he's talking about is the bystander effect. And this hits you and Adam differently than it hits me, because even though none of the three of us are women, I might be having a little bit up in the chesticle region, but definitely not a female. Um, y'all are still minorities, and you know what it feels like to be a minority. And that's something that someone like me, a fat white dude in America, I can intellectually understand, but I cannot ever really understand that. And that's the perspective that is really bothering me that isn't getting brought up, is women are a minority. Women are part of that minority struggle. This is a person in power and influence who used that power and influence to take advantage of others. Now, are there worse versions of the crimes that he allegedly, there's 20 people, he did? Sure. Big rape up in Pittsburgh did the worst version of what he did.
Absolutely.
But the volume is what tells the story. The volume tells you this is a person in power who believes he is owed those services, that a woman's only job is to get him off. And it really bothers me that nobody who looks like me is coming out and saying publicly, at least that I'm not seeing, in the media, I have a problem with this because of the behavior. And it's that the people who don't look like me, the people that are the majority, especially in positions of power, that don't come out and say that, where if it was your mother, if it was your wife, it was your girlfriend, it was a friend and it happened, it'd be the sword of Damocles. Bury him under the prison would be the response. But because it didn't affect you personally, and we don't get affected the same way, and we don't have that same empathy in some cases because, again, white male, let's just be real, it doesn't hit me the same. That is what bothers me the most about it. And to a degree, that's the biggest reason I don't want him on the team. I can have an objective legal conversation about it, about what did and did not happen. You can make a statement, hey, he's just a horny 26-year-old. Let's be real. If we were all worth $100 million and single, we know what we would be doing. Okay. But you're worth $100 million and you're a public figure. If that was what you wanted, you wouldn't need to get it from unwilling people. You would just go get it. Like Instagram models exist. Dudes be flying them out all the time. If that was what you wanted, there's better ways to get it. This is about power. This is about taking something from somebody else. And that's why it bothers me so much. Because
people don't see that. Why I don't understand why they don't see that aspect of it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of them are assuming, okay, these were massage therapists, quote unquote.
Yeah.
So I think they are kind of blending the whole,
they think it's the kind homeboy in New England was going to.
Happy ending, whatever.
Yeah.
They're kind of merging that, and all these girls are just trying to get off on somebody. But, just from what I've read, these are just professional, independent
contractors with
small business trying to get up, trying to build their clientele. You get an NFL player, a star quarterback, and you do a good job giving him a massage.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like hitting a lot.
Changes your you change your tax bracket.
And then you get in there, and then you getting somebody that's trying to force you to give some head.
Yeah.
It's like, thanks. Like, thank you very much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like nobody's having empathy with this whole situation. Nobody's trying to put themselves in their shoes. And look, I get it. Like I've heard, like, bro, I've been on Twitter all day. I can't even argue no more because everybody's just, oh, well, you didn't get charged hard. There are other people on the team that done all kind of things. NFL players do all kind of things all the time. It's like everybody's coming with all these little justifications.
Yep.
Okay, if you want to justify it for yourself, like, that's cool. Like, if fandom is fandom is something. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, what is fan short for? It's
fanatic, man. So just like any fanatic of anything, you're gonna find ways to justify it. Yep. And if they want to justify like that, cool. Some people I ran into are like, look, the dude is scumbag, man, but hey, I just want to watch a good QB on my team. I respect that. Like,
I have so much more respect for that than the people that are just, oh, well, we forgave Jameis. Oh, we did. Well, number one, no, we did not forgive Jameis. There were a lot of us, and I saw you saying it, so I'm gonna say us because I know I did it too, that had problems with bringing him in. But there is the issue of scale. And people just keep brushing that off like, oh, well, 3 and 22, it's the same thing. It's the same action. Exactly. No, it's not. If I steal a candy bar one time as a kid, I might have just done it for attention. I might have just wanted a Snickers. It's whatever. If I steal a candy bar 3 times a week for a year, I have a problem. Mm-hmm. This man was stealing a lot worse than candy bars. He was stealing people's dignity and self-respect. And repeatedly, serially, and I'm using the term intentionally. And that's the part. Like, I have such a huge issue with it. I don't want to feel dirty watching sports. And here's one other. This part is, I'm not alone in this, but this part makes me a little bit different. Here's how I became a Saints fan. I'm not from New Orleans. I'm from California. I was born in Montana, moved to California. Like, I'm not from the city. How did I become a Saints fan? First NFL game I ever watched was when they reopened the Superdome. First NFL game.
Wow.
And I fell in love with the city and the fan base way before I fell in love with football or the team.
That's crazy.
The passion that came through that TV screen, I was like, I got to watch more of this. And then I watched more of that. And I've always been an offense guy. And you had Sean and Drew and Reggie. And so, like, this was well made for Brian to enjoy it.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I stayed through the 7 and 9 years. I stayed through all the other stuff. I've been a fan for 15 plus years. And I stayed a fan the whole time because of the passion of the city and the way that they embraced the team and the culture that the team and the organization had, where we didn't have scumbags. We didn't have, like, it wasn't perfect, but even when Darren Sharper stuff came out, the team didn't leap to his defense. They washed their hands and said, dude, you fucked up. You're on your own. And I respected that.
Mm-hmm.
And I could respect it as a fan. And especially for me as I got older and for personal decisions, part of it, but also just part of it's getting older and having a real job. Like I used to be an athlete, and competition for me is a holy place. I don't mind losing. I've never been the sore loser guy, as long as I lost legit. If I lose straight up and I gave what I had and I lose, I'm not tripping. I'm gonna ask for a rematch, and I'll ask for a rematch 40 times in a row till you get tired and let me win to shut me up. But I don't mind the losses. But if you take that away from me, if it's no longer a holy place, if it's no longer just about let's just see who's the best, then that's not why I'm in for this. And you bring in a guy like that, and now I feel dirty watching the game. I didn't inherit this. I chose to be a Saints fan because I love the city, I love the team, I love the organization. Well, you bring that dude in, barring a shit ton of evidence and a whole hell of a lot of legitimately heartfelt statements from him, none of which has happened yet, so we ain't talking about it. I'm going to choose to go be a fan for somebody else because I don't want to feel dirty when I watch and I root for a touchdown. I don't want to feel dirty when, the team does well, because I can't respect myself. And I felt the same way when I had friends that came out with the red hats.
Mm-hmm.
You might not be out there saying, kick these people out, wearing the white cloth and the fucking table sheets on your head. You might not be doing that, but you're perfectly okay with the people that are.
Mm-hmm.
I got a wife. My wife's a minority. And if someone did to her what this dude did, there would be a court case. It wouldn't be his, it'd be mine.
Right.
And I'd be pleading guilty going, I did it. What's up? You want to know why I did it? Because that happened. He was trying to shoot a little something off in the room, so I shot a little something off in the room. Like, and would I go to jail? Yeah. And would I deserve it? Yeah. Would I care? No. So I'm really glad my wife's not a masseuse. But like, that's just if that's how I would feel if it happened to mine, then I can't treat it like it happened to somebody else. So, like I said, I want to spend all the time on this, but it really does bother me that side of things isn't getting brought up. So fuck
Bro,
it.
that Darren Sharper
I'm gonna bring
shit,
it up.
That Darren Sharper shit really annoys me.
Yeah.
Because it's like, that's not the question. It's like, oh, well, you root for the 09 team, they had Darren Sharper on it. Yes, I root for the 09 Super Bowl team, damn right. But the question is, if you can go back in time, knowing Darren Sharper was drugging women and raping them, would you want him on your team?
You enjoyed the Cosby Show when you were a kid.
Right.
If you're caping for him now, you're a piece of shit.
Right.
When you watched it as a kid, you didn't know. There's been a lot of, at this point, I'm just sending people fucking Googles. Like, look up false equivalence. Because a lot of you motherfuckers do not know how to make a comparison. Talking about, oh, yeah, Darren Sharper. Yeah, great. Darren Sharper was a piece of trash. We know this. The motherfucker went to prison for being a piece of trash. We didn't know this in 09. That's the difference. We know now, and y'all still trying to bring the dude in. That's the fucking difference.
It's like Darren Sharper getting out of, it's like
if
Darren Sharper got out of jail today, and we be trying to bring Darren Sharper back.
Yeah. Like, or get out of jail today and they put his ass in the Ring of Honor.
Like, come catch these INTs, bro. And 9 interceptions, man.
I mean, with the way this organization is doing stuff, be like, let Marcus go. Darren's only 87. He can do that.
He bench pressing.
Fucking bring in Tyra. If you bring in Tyrann Mathieu to play free safety, you might as well bring in Darren Sharper's old ass because they're gonna have about the same range. He can take Malcolm's job.
Yeah.
But you can't. He can't play single high. He couldn't play single high in his prime. He
No,
definitely he don't have Marcus's range. You got to
at
change your whole
all.
fucking defense.
No, it's not the same. Two
But
different players.
yeah, and that actually kind of brings me. We'll just kind of segue there. Um, less heavy shit.
Please.
Kind of talk a little bit about I love when you guys came out with this like months and months and months ago about like what's the vision.
Yeah.
And to me, if I look at it from a managerial, business owner perspective, if you're good at it, if you know what you're doing, there is never a vision. There are multiple visions. It's here's the general approach. There's our North Star. We're trying to get to here. And here's all the different ways we can get there. And what the Saints have told us to this point, and like I said, I ain't trying to just kiss up. I've really liked how you guys have been fucking honest. Like, they haven't made all the best possible moves. In fact, in a couple of spots, like just being straight up, they've made the comfortable move. But minus the Watson shit, which, has literally been beat to death, although it needs to be beat to death. I see it this way. I see this team and this roster as constructed. I see that there's two visions, and they're in a position to go one of two ways. Well, technically the third, but the third is fall completely ass over tea kettle. You're basically the Browns again. Get out the paper bags and let's all have a terrible time. And that's one of the options. But I see two paths, and it really is all predicated on Michael Thomas for me. Because the defense, you don't have a 2015 Broncos defense. You don't have a 2000 Ravens like we don't have one of those special defenses that can win you a championship all on their own. Those only come once or twice a decade. They're super rare. This ain't one of those. But we have a very good defense. What we need on offense is a floor raiser.
Right.
And that's really what Michael Thomas was. Like Michael Thomas, like I joked years ago, like 2016, I called him tier 2. People got mad at me. And all I meant by it is the thing that was missing from his game was he's not a game breaker.
Right.
But he keeps the chains moving. You can build an offense around him because you can stay on schedule. You pair him with the game breaker, and now you're cooking with gas.
Right.
And if Mike is Mike, even if he's 95% of Mike, he's a little bit less than the offensive player of the year, but he's still the same player.
Right.
You can build an offense around that because the reality is, except from a decision-making standpoint, if we're being real, 2019 Drew was good enough to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, absolutely.
Current Jimmy Garoppolo is not that far off from 2019 Drew. Like the decision making is where the gap is, but as far as performance, they're not that different. The difference is Michael Thomas is a floor raiser. So you can stay on schedule. You add a few more weapons around it. You have a good enough defense. This is a team that on any given Sunday can beat anybody. That's path one. That is the short path to success. If he can still be a floor raiser, you add one more playmaker in free agency. You add one more playmaker in the draft. You figure out quarterback, whether it's Jameis, whether it's a high-level game manager. Jimmy Garoppolo's a low-level game manager, but he's still peak him. He's okay. Like he got to a Super Bowl. He's good enough in the right circumstance. Right. Shanahan had floor raisers with the running game. Mike is another floor raiser in the passing game. The point is that you can stay on schedule enough. So if they can do that, I can see a path to success. And you got door number two. If Mike isn't Mike, you need another number one guy. Like Mike's always, his worst case, he's going to be mid to late career Anquan Boldin.
Right, exactly.
Catch a lot of balls, going to get, move the chains on third down, but he ain't getting double
90, 1,100, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
90, 1,200 yards.
Exactly. Like that's his floor. Like unless he's hurt, that's who he is as a player. And that's fine because hands are like a jumper. Hands don't age. It's the last thing to go. Age.
He's always going to have hands, always going to be competitive as fuck.
Exactly. Like, and so like for me, if I'm the Saints organization, I am building all of my contingencies and all of my planning around the question of, is Mike Mike? Because if Mike is Mike, the shit that we've been so pissed about, I can see where the organization is like, yeah, but we get to see the guy. We've been with him. We've seen him running drills. Like, he's him. He's physically him again, which means our margins just shifted in this direction. Our floor just got up to here. So we are going to play it safe because we have this floor raiser. Just same way Cam Jordan in most of his career was a floor raiser for the D. He was never the best defensive end in football, but good pass rusher, elite run defender, could play, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Like, your front line, even in its worst years, like Cam was still keeping that thing afloat.
Right.
You get guys who raise that floor. I can see it. But what if Mike isn't Mike? Or what if Mike is now injury prone? Because, he looks like him, but once some things are damaged, they're easier to damage. If you don't go get a Jameson or a Burke, provided he can stay away from the buffets, don't let Vegas draft him. That man is doomed.
Oh, man.
Like, if you don't get a guy like that can make plays and draw coverage, then that's even though key. Mike's a floor raiser, that's where I'm worried. Like, we're not going to get Russ. Russ was the Hail Mary. Russ was the best option. Again, fuck Deshaun. That's a whole different combo. We ain't having it no more. If you're not getting Russ, you're going the game manager route. And people don't like to talk about this, but more game managers have won Super Bowls than non-game managers.
That's true.
Like, if we're being real, Tom Brady has more Super Bowls that he won as a game manager than he did as a catalyst of a great offense.
Right.
When they won in Tampa Bay 2 years, like he put up great numbers, but if you look at that playoff run, Tom was a game manager. Leonard Fournette was the one that went off in the Super Bowl, not Tom.
That's very true.
Mahomes' offensive line was the reason they won, not Tom. Tom just didn't fuck it up. Game manager gets this bad label to it like it's an insult. No, it means you didn't fuck it up. You have a job. I have a job. Anybody watching this probably has a job. We all have had coworkers where we're like, oh my God, dude, just stop fucking up.
Right.
It's the only thing we want from them. If everyone you worked with just did their job and didn't fuck up, your day is easier. It's that one guy that keeps fucking up all the time that drives you nuts.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's not just one guy. That's when you got to start throwing up them resumes. Baker, we're looking at you.
Oh.
But, I'd throw a few shots. But that's from me. I know I'm doing a lot of talking, a lot of rambling, but this is called Ranting and Raving for a reason.
For real.
But how do you feel about that framing? Do you think that's fair? Do you think I'm completely off base?
No, I think you make a good point about, what Michael Thomas does for the offense, particularly the stand on schedule portion, because that was the missing component last year, even with Jameis. We had the big plays. Everybody talks about the 14 touchdown, the 2 or 3 interceptions or whatever it was. Those were there. Like, those are the statistics. But what was missing was the sustainability and the stand on schedule. It was infuriating, it's crazy to me. Like, people don't remember how infuriating it was to watch the offense, even with Jameis, because it was so many 3 and outs. It was just so off schedule. Yep. It's something we just had never seen before because, hate to go back, but with Drew Brees, it was on.
Going from Drew to Jameis is.
Oh, bro, it was just like. But that said, you
have like going from Beyonce to Missy Elliott.
Bro, you had to have the qualifier though. You have to have the qualifier of what he was playing with. Michael Thomas, you just add him, just that factor. The dude does nothing but catch everything. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And I don't care what Teddy Bridgewater he produced, Taysom Hill he produced. I'm sure if he was with Trevor Siemian, he would have produced. It doesn't matter. Like, the dude, he would have caught a couple. But you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's just that's what the dude does, man. He's quarterback friendly as hell, man.
And he brings energy.
And
I love Alvin. I love Alvin's game. He's a damn mutant. his
He
body
taps out though.
control and his just tactile senses, his ability to absorb contact and like he is a mutant.
He
But
taps out though.
he taps out, but is more than that. I think the taps out thing is
I don't mean like he
taps out.
quitting. I don't mean like he
Yeah.
quitting, but you could tell in his body language in some games where he just kind of knows.
No, absolutely. I look at it like this. Obviously, like my background is basketball. I didn't play football. I played basketball. So I always bring it back to the court for me. Michael Thomas has the energy, not the game, but he has that energy of the, like, if anybody who's played enough pickup games knows exactly the guy I'm about to describe. You get the middle-aged, usually white guy who plays D, sets screens, calls out, like is calling out stuff in a pickup game, calling screens, calling offside, calling backdoor, calling this, calling that, and just is an obnoxious gopher of a human being to everybody on the other team, on offense, on defense. But they're like, that person will play 20 games in a row, might not win them all, but their energy is on 10 the entire fucking time. Everybody hates that guy except when they're playing with that guy. CD is that guy on the defense.
Yes.
He's annoying, he's irritating, but his energy is always on 12. Always. And especially when the offense is bad, Mike coming out there flexing on people, talking shit, it makes his teammates believe. And when people talk about momentum in sports and then people are, oh, it's not real. Well, it is, but you have to understand that it's psychology. It's not the literal physics definition of momentum, but it is psychological. You have potential performance and then you have the actual thing that happens. The more in rhythm you are, the more you believe, the more you're able to separate thought from action, like just react and go, the better you play. And when you have a teammate that keeps you hyped and keeps you positive and lets you feed off their energy, you play better. That's honest to me. Like that's what we always talked about when Mark Ingram left, Alvin was just, he wasn't quite the same. You know, when we have Rhythm and Bruise, it was never quite the same. Even though Alvin's special, Mark hyping him up did something different to him. Mike hyping guys up does something different to the offense. Outside of the production, the keeping guys on schedule, I just want to see a guy who gets in the other team's face and gets the offense to believe, hey, we actually don't suck. Because if they do that, they might actually not suck. Because let's not get it twisted. Last year, the offense sucked.
It's garbage, man.
I thought I was watching LSU under fucking Les Miles. That was trash.
But weirdly efficient in some areas. That's what made it funny. That's Sean. Like that was what Sean brought.
Like,
and
again,
another that's a big
rail.
question. That's a big question. Like, what's going to happen now? You know, like Pete got that juice. I don't know.
That is the biggest. It's why I wanted Doug Peterson and the people that were talking about, oh, his record. Yeah, record is influenced. Like, let's not get this twisted. Talent trumps coaching. They had a lot of bad rosters in Philly. Yeah, one hot year, they got on a great run. Carson Wentz was playing at an MVP level.
Injuries.
Nick Foles got hot. I forget his name. They had the one receiver who had like completely out of, like, his year was above anything he's ever had the rest of his career. But it was that year they won the Super Bowl and it changed their whole offense. But if you look at what he does from a play calling and from a leadership and look at like their penalties, like that's what you need. You need a fucking dad on the field. You need that adult. And I think DA can do that. But my whole question with Pete is, can you make the uncomfortable call when things get off schedule?
Right.
Because we get mad at Sean for doing the end around of the tight end shit. But Sean would also whip his dick out and stick it on defense's forehead for like an entire quarter at a time, all the time, and just go, all right, I found a weakness. I'm just going to hit it till you can't do nothing about it. And it wasn't necessarily the weakness that was there in the first quarter. Sean would find something, and sometimes it was Drew finding it, but
exactly,
they would find shit and go, great, got him. And then they rattle off 24 points in 8 minutes, and you're like, what happened? When did we get a lead? I went to the bathroom. I came back. We're up.
Yeah.
And that's my question. I think Pete will be fine calling the plays. Pete will be fine designing the plays. But what's going to happen when it's off schedule? When it's not working, hey, the other guys have coaches too. They had a different plan that you thought they had, and now you got to adjust. That's my question with Pete. But I feel so much better about it if Michael Thomas is there, because the adjustment may just be, hey, throw it to 13.
Thank you.
Get a couple first downs, make them shift coverage. Now run a double move. Oh, look, we got a touchdown. Now we're feeling better.
And that works.
Hey, 2020 Drew, until like that shoulder just completely died and Jared Cook went traitor. I'm just saying. I feel bad for that dude because he seems like a good guy, and I saw him crying off the sideline, and you knew he knew what he did. But I'm still a fan, and I hate his ass for life.
For life, man.
For life.
But man, we so thirsty. We so thirsty. I'll bring it back, bro.
I don't know if I can do that.
I'll bring it back, man. I don't care.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I think it's a smart move, but I don't know if I could do that. Although at least I'd have somebody to blame anytime we didn't get a first down. Hey, he don't even have to be on the field. They could be at 11. I don't care. I'm blaming Jared Cook.
It's just how thirsty we are, bro.
No, you're not wrong. Here's one other thing I wanted to talk about before I shit all over Tom Brady coming back. And this kind of feeds into the whole Pete Carmichael thing and DA taking over. I really want to get your thoughts on this, because you guys talked a lot about, you guys had the F Sean Payton podcast, which was cathartic for a lot of us. Like I love Sean. I loved Sean as a coach, but I can love what he did and still be like, nah, fuck you, bro. You got to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
exactly.
Two things can be true at once. I can love the 15, 16 years we had and be like, yeah, but fuck you now. Look what you did.
I mean, look, there's a thin line, man. There's a very thin line.
Very thin line. Here's where I stand on that, especially related to the team's culture. And I want to, I have theories, but I want to get your thoughts on it. I think personally, missing out on Mahomes 2017, we all know how that went. Like, hindsight is 2020. There's no argument of what the right move was. We can move on from that. But for me, I think 2018 broke Sean the same way that it broke the rest of us. And combination of ego, but also I think a sense of duty to his players kept him around for 2 more years. I don't think Drew was the only one that wanted to retire after the 2018 year. I think if they won that Super Bowl, I think Sean would have left too. And we wouldn't have cared, because we got 2 rings, go off into the sunset. We'd have been happy with it. Let the team hit the reset button, go make a trade, whatever. I think that the same way that game and that's the way it happened and the way the league responded to it. And then when the competition community got the review in and the league let the refs just intentionally kill the replay challenging, like they weren't even subtle about that shit. Like, no, fuck y'all. We got a union. We about to use it. Fuck y'all. Acting like all of a sudden they're baseball umpires and they got God complexes. I think those things together got him to a point where, again, I'm not making excuses for him, but Sean built a culture and a team that, if I was going to say one thing that defined through 2019 Saints, I would call it accountability. Sean was do your job guy. That's how Pierre Thomas made the team. That's how Lance Moore made the team. That's how a 6th-round pick became, the franchise's top receiver until, Michael Thomas came around. Is Sean was do your job. And if you do your job, I will take care of you. I think that's part of why he loved Taysom so much as we crack jokes about it. And it is frustrating.
Yeah.
Taysom, like if I'm looking at it from a coach perspective, or like I'm a manager in a job, if I have an employee that does everything I ask of them and does it well, I'm taking care of that dude. So I get it. Like, I'm annoyed by it, but I get it, because that's been what Sean has preached the whole time. If you do what I ask of you, I will take care of you. I think that what part of what happened to Sean was when 2018 happened, he really, like, as a coach, as a psycho to a degree, which you kind of have to be to do that job about this game, realized this league don't care about you. It's not a holy place for competition. It's not just about who's better on the field that day. They are going to do what they can to get the result they want, as long as they think they can get away with it. And you look at that, like that 2020 draft, and even like a lot of the coaching from last year, it looked like a guy going through the motions to me. And I don't mean he didn't care anymore, but it was that was somebody with a broken spirit who no longer believed and was making reactionary moves instead of anticipatory moves.
Yes.
The Ruiz pick, Pete got hurt. I forget the other dude's name, but the other guard, Warford got fucking, he got his ass knocked into retirement, got victimized. And it was that same reactionary type shit that had us picking Stanley Jean-Baptiste. It's the exact Ruiz and Stanley and Baptiste are the same pick. I saw this thing. That's what beat me. Go get the guy to stop it. Don't look at the player. Don't look at the interviews. Don't look at the team's needs. Wide receiver, like that relative value. None of that. That's what beat us. Go get that. And Sean had gotten away from being a reaction guy. Sean was trusting the people around him. They were looking at needs. 2018 happens. You look at 2019. Then the league, just drops the nuts on his head one last time. And you look at those last 2 years. For me, that's the lens I look at it through. Is that guy went, if that's how y'all gonna be, I'm out. We got fucked. Like, as fans, the team got fucked. But like, that's my theory on what really caused like the last couple of years. Is I don't think it was Sean's ego as much as it was, like, obviously his ego was a part of it, but I really think it was more, he was just broken and he was reacting. And it makes so much sense to me. Again, do I sound crazy? Do I need to stop drinking? How you feeling about it?
Oh man, I think he lost the juice. After 2018, then you had the whole COVID thing. Coaches across the league pretty much lost control. They didn't control their rosters anymore. And Sean is somebody who, I mean, let's be honest, he thrives off controlling everything, So I think, it's a combination of those things and a combination of just the fact, honestly, he's been trying to get out for a while. It's literally like last 7 or 8 years, he's been looking to get out. Whatever reason, we don't know. So I'm just kind of to the point where I just look at him like, he was a guy who kind of, he felt like he did his job here. I'm sure he enjoyed it here. And you gotta understand, you can't look at these coaches like fans. Like, you can't, it's just like us when we leave jobs, go to other companies and stuff like that. That's just how they're looking at it, So you can't put so much heart into it like we do. And it's like, oh man, how could you leave the Saints? Some people think he's coming back to the Saints. No, like
I don't get those people, man. Like,
I don't get it. Like
I can rationalize a lot. I don't like that level of self-delusion. Like, I'm quoting a comedian on this, but like, those are the people, like, some people have like retirement plans and some people play the lottery. And like, those are the people that play the lottery. Like, right. Nah, man, I'm gonna win one of these days. Do you understand the concept of odds?
Right.
No, you clearly don't, because you, like, if you play for fun, fine. If you play thinking you're gonna win,
no.
That's a belief problem. You don't have to believe facts. You know facts. That's why we call them facts. If you believe it and instead of knowing it, it's not a fact.
Right.
And yeah, I don't that one. I don't fucking get that one, dude. Like, I love this fan base. I love the passion of the fan base. I'm not trying to put myself above anybody. Anybody who's reacted with me on Twitter, I had some wild ass thoughts too. But like, the irrational shit, I don't get it. Like, that's just why are you asking for pain? Because if you believe that passionately, when it doesn't happen, you're gonna be that much more disappointed.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, you're just asking for pain. That's like the dude that keeps cheating on you every week for the last 2 years, and you let him back in again, and then he cheats on you next week. And it's like, at some point, just let the motherfucker go. It ain't gonna stop. Like, why are you deluding yourself into thinking this is gonna work? But that part is what it is. And speaking of people that won't go to fuck away, so I
Oh
assume
my
you saw
God.
the news. Tom Brady, really surprising no one. We all saw this coming. Came back out of retirement. I think I think what happened was Giselle had to spend an actual week with his obnoxious ass and went, go. And I hope they hit you too.
I don't know what it was. It was either that. I think the kids just hated him. Like, who the
You
fuck
can't
are
hit
you? Who are
somebody you
you?
don't know.
I'm saying, who are you, bro?
What you in my house for?
Why,
Who is this man?
why are you trying to tell us what to do, man? Like, get out of here.
Calling calling the gardener daddy and shit. No.
But I mean, look, bro, the dude is successful as hell, man. This shit like a drug, bro. Like,
It is.
I mean, walking out and everybody praising you. Imagine that drug, bro. Like that's a drug. Like I wish I could know the dopamine. I wish they could put like the electrodes on his head.
Oh yeah.
To feel the dopamine, the dopamine injections he gets.
Well, and
just imagine, from being Tom Brady.
Imagine having the level of chip on your shoulder that it takes to have the level of success he's had and to keep going for more. The self-hypnosis it takes to keep that up, where the last 15 plus years of his life, every mistake he's made, people have publicly made excuses for him, no matter what it is. Nothing is ever Tom Brady's fault. Ever. And yet, you still have that chip on your shoulder? Like,
it's amazing.
Just psychologically.
People don't believe.
It's so crazy.
Believe in me.
Like, this is what I'm hoping for, though. And I don't think it'll happen because that offense is still loaded. But when Antonio Brown got hurt, that was a very different offense.
Oh,
and it's partially, and especially when Godwin got hurt, because Brady, and he's been this guy for a long time, but the biggest difference between late career Brady and late career Drew is Brady didn't get hurt. Thanks, Ruiz. But beyond that, Brady had the number one group of talent around him to throw to. Mm-hmm. And he had not just talent that fit. You had two guys in Antonio Brown and Godwin who can win early. So you have your safety valves. Fournette learned how to catch the damn ball for him, partially because he actually had a quarterback that could throw it to him in stride, but started being able to safety valve, ran his offense. And then when teams reacted to that, you got Mike Evans, who's always been a big play receiver, who's got a huge catch radius. Like, you look at that talent, and then Gronk, who, he can't run like prime Gronk could, but he's still big, he's still tough, and he can still catch anything. Gronk's another year older. AB's clearly going to be gone. Godwin's coming off ACL. Who knows what he's going to look like? That old line's banged up. Like, I'm not predicting this.
Yeah.
But I think Bucs fans may be in for a very rude surprise. Like, people forget, Brett Favre is one of probably the 5 best quarterbacks ever. If you just look at the position and what you were able to do. And that 2009 year is his best year.
Yeah.
We had to get 5 turnovers in that game to win in overtime and some very nice officiating. PT was short. Like, let's just be real.
He was short. He
was very short. We had to get every fucking break to beat that team. 3 years later, he was the worst quarterback, or 2 years later, he was the worst quarterback in the league, and he was done. Like, older quarterbacks, this is what happened to Drew. You had before that hit against the Falcons, and you had after the hit against the Falcons. And before that hit, he looked like the MVP of the league going away. And afterwards, he looked like sad Chad Pennington with a big boner for the military.
Yeah. It changed
Like,
everything.
Tom is one big hit or his receivers not being able to make plays for him away from being that dude that goes out sorry. And I need this, whether Deshaun makes me find a new team or not. I need this in my veins. I need sad Tom Brady. I need a season of sad Tom Brady. I need to be sniffing that shit every Sunday, seeing that motherfucker breaking tablets and CD tweeting out to Surface about it.
I need it, man. I need it.
Which, by the way, that was the best fucking moment of all last year. Like,
oh man, like
the image,
those Tampa Bay games really made the season.
Oh, they did. And the image was one thing, but when he tweeted out at Surface, oh yeah, asking for a friend, and they tweeted back,
man,
like it was a good year for me. No matter what happened, no matter how it was, like, no, this was a good season. That happened. I'm gonna have 20 years from now. I'm gonna talk about that. That shit's still gonna be funny. Beautiful. So I got, again, want to thank you for coming on. I don't want to keep you too long, because I know it's later for you than it is for me. I got one other fairly quick topic that I want to go over with you about, related to the team. As you can tell, I'm not organized at all. But
oh, good, bro.
We kind of talked about this a little bit earlier as far as the what's the vision conversation, but I kind of want to take that, go back to that a little bit as far as, the draft and free agency. And I don't want to talk, specific players. I mean, we can, but for me, it's less about specific players, especially in free agency, because the one guy I was go fucking get him was Gesicki, and he got franchised, which made sense. But that was the one free agent where if he was available, it's go get him. Like, I don't care. He's exactly what the team needs. Go get him. Because you pair him with Mike and AK, and you have an offense. He's gone, so goes my, like, pound the table, go get it. Are you more in favor of a go get 2 or 3 guys and hope at least one hits approach? Or would you rather the team swing for the fences, identify their guy, and go get him? And then obviously also, like, I'm pretty sure you're keep the man on the Marcus Williams side, but we can talk about that too a little bit.
It's looking a little dicey the closer we get to free agency, but we'll see. But just me, I assume once he hits the market, he's gonna be gone. But you never know. Like, the safety position is weird. I remember years where free agency starts and the safeties are just sitting out there after like 2 weeks.
Remember Kenny Vaccaro?
Yeah, I remember. It took him like months to get a contract, I believe. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, with free agency, I think they should try to target like a tier 2 free agent, wide receiver or playmaker. It doesn't have to be a wide receiver; it could be a tight end.
You think a guy like maybe Scantling from Green Bay?
That's one. I can't say his name. What's the tight end from Cincy? Did they tag him yet?
Oh, I don't think they did.
Uzama,
CJ Uzama.
Uzama,
you talking about?
Guys like that,
Gerald Everett is another guy. He's only 27.
Hey, I love it. Just guys like that, not top end free agents. They're going to cost some money still, but they're not going to blow your bank away. But they could come in that, put some good tape out there, and they're going to come in and they should produce. Even if they produce at the level that they have been already, that's fine. But they also have the potential to be even better. So I'm trying to, look for guys like that, guys in their mid-20s that could come and just be impact players for you on offense. And then come the draft, you can add some spice to it, And then you're cooking with gas, man. 1 or 2 players from offense in free agency. But I wouldn't attack, week 1 free agency, with the record contracts that they signed. Because I just don't see anybody out there worth that type of. I would have done that with Gesicki. But
I'd have given him the Jimmy Graham money.
I'd have given him the big money, bro. I'd have given him the big money. You probably would have overpaid, but who cares?
The
But the
thing is,
rest of these,
if the player produces, you can't overpay.
exactly. Like
Like,
I say, overpay,
yeah, that always frustrates me. Like, oh, you overpay for that guy. It's like when teams say you took him too soon in the draft. My mock draft didn't have him going till this time.
Who cares?
Fuck you and your mock draft. If you bring in the player and they produce, it was a good deal.
I remember people flame, for us for taking Jimmy Graham in the 3rd round because he's like a basketball player. It's like, what are you doing?
And then he
And
had like the best 4-year stretch at tight ends ever had.
Like a Hall of Fame trajectory, those years.
And then everybody got up in their feelings.
Ugh.
So I got one more draft related question for you. I got 2 scenarios. I'll tell you after you answer, I'll tell you which one I prefer. And this one actually would have made Adam mad. But this is I'm margins guy. Like I always like to try to be the smartest guy in the room. So I don't necessarily always give the smartest answer just because I like to feel smart. I'm that guy. So door number 1, the Saints move up into the top 8-ish, somewhere in that range. Hypothetically, I'm saying I think that Deshaun goes to Carolina or Seattle, which I think have 8 and 9, if I'm remembering the draft order right. So one of them is going to get him. So whoever doesn't, you're going to have to jump them. So door number 1, you get Malik. You get 1 free agent wide receiver, whether it's Scantling, whether it's Christian Kirk, it's whoever. You get 1 free agent wide receiver. You get him. You get 1 other lower mid free agent on the defensive side, probably a safety to replace Marcus. And then, the rest of the draft goes how it goes. But that's door number 1. You get Malik. You get the guy with special potential. Door number 2, you re-sign Marcus, give him the big money he wants, go wide receiver in round 1 at 18, and trade back up to 31 to grab Sam Howell out of Carolina, trade back into the 1st to get that 5th-year option. And you're going for what I think is the better version long-term. I think he's the better version of Kenny Pickett. I think he has more upside. I think Kenny Pickett's more pro-ready right this minute. Which of those 2 doors would you prefer? Let's say door number 2. It's specifically, let's say they get Jameson Williams.
So it'd be Jameson Williams and
Howell.
And Howell.
Or Malik Willis and a higher level free agent.
I don't have a huge opinion on Sam Howell, other than when I did watch him at the Senior Bowl, I was like, dude's pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I had literally no opinion on the guy. I'd never watched him before the Senior Bowl. Then I went back and watched some more of him. I watched some of his tape from this last past season and the season prior. And, I saw, his past season, he was okay. Season prior, he was lighting it up. But I saw that, I could see him in the Saints offense. You know what I'm saying? So there's something I like about him. I kind of like Desmond Ridder a little more. I just feel like there's a little more playmaker to him. But out of these 2 doors, man, I think I go with door number 2, man, because I can't pass up Jameson. Jameson, man. I ain't even worried about Sam Howell. He might be cutting 2 years. But we get Jameson.
We actually agree on, and I'm big on, if you have a quarterback you love, go get him. But I'm margins guy. If I believe that Michael Thomas is back, because that's the door I would go through. If I believe Michael Thomas is back and he's your floor raiser, and I can get another playmaker that's going to scare defenses opposite him. For me, I always look at, if you want to win a Super Bowl in the NFL, I have what I call the Eli Manning line. Eli Manning to me is the perfect quarterback to use as the example for this. Because if you look at Eli Manning's career outside of 2 years, that is a below average quarterback. And he had a lot of years where he was awful. He had good weapons around him and was throwing 20 plus interceptions.
Yeah, I remember.
Low efficiency in the efficiency era. Bad quarterback. But 2 hot seasons with 2 really good teams and some great throws. Like, he had talent. That's the difference between talent and production. He had talent, but he never put it all together. For me, it's, can this guy in a year on a good team play at the Eli Manning level or above? If they can't, I don't want him on the team. Like, that's why I have no interest in Taysom. I have no interest in Teddy. I do have interest in Jameis because I think Jameis is above the Eli Manning line. Because he can make big plays to make up for the negative plays. If you can get a 6-week stretch where he curves the negative plays at the right time, you can win. But it's, can you put enough around him? And then as far as Howell, I mean, I obviously was not at the Senior Bowl. Here's the thing I like about him, and it's the biggest reason I have him over Ritter and over Pickett. He's my number 2. Malik's clearly he's special. Will he be a special NFL player? We'll see. But as a talent, he's special.
Right.
But the reason I have Howell as that second guy is he's got all the prototypical attributes you look for. But the biggest thing to me is consistently in his career, his game got better in the fourth quarter. And like, if he smelled blood, like, oh, we have a chance to come back, he stacked, he elevated. And that's the biggest thing I look for at the college level at that position, other than just, can you throw the ball accurately? Do you have good feet? Because quarterback starts at the feet. It's, do you have that ability to elevate when you need to?
Right.
Guys who look comfortable, because, like, you know, Baker at Oklahoma was a great example. Was in a great offense with tons of weapons. Everything was wide open. He looked awesome. He hit adversity in the pros. It broke him.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that happens to so many of these guys. Like, Baker has superstar quarterback talent, but are you a guy who elevates under pressure or a guy who shrinks under pressure? Like, honestly, Johnny Manziel elevated under pressure. He had so many personal problems. He never was that dude.
Right.
But like, if he didn't have the personal problems, I think he probably would have been a good quarterback.
Me too.
So that's the thing with Howell that I'm just like Drew wasn't a stud in college. He was good. He was really good, but he wasn't a megastar. But he was a guy who stacked and grew and progressed, and he had that self-belief that, like, if you give me a chance, I'm going to take this win. I'm not going to get this win. Yeah. And that's what popped off the screen for me with Howell when I watched him, was like, oh no, he wants it. And he thinks he deserves it. Like, this is owed to me. I'm going to go take this.
Where's the warrior, man?
But we'll see how it goes. Provided this team does not do something stupid in the next few days, I'll look forward to the draft and free agency. The one good thing is I honestly do not think that the Saints will be able to get Deshaun Watson, because I do not think Deshaun Watson will sign off to go to New Orleans. For 2 reasons. Number one, there's not enough weapons, and the O-line isn't good enough. Like, it's going to be the same situation he had. But I don't think Sean Payton is going to come back until after the Saints lose his rights. If he ever does come back to coaching, I don't think he's going to be 1 year and done. If he comes back, he's going to come back where he has an opportunity to win. And if he loses 3 first-round picks, he's not going to have that opportunity. So he's not going to come back. Like, he's not an old coach. He's got time to wait.
Oh, you got plenty of time.
You're not going to get the picks from Sean back to fill back in what you're going to lose for getting Watson. If you get Watson and you have Watson and Michael Thomas and no O-line and your defense is gutted, you're not winning shit. So if I'm Watson, I could go to Carolina. I could go to the Commanders. Like, yeah, they just traded for Wentz, but like, who gives a shit? Fuck, great. Be a backup. We're getting Watson. Like, you could go to Seattle, who now has all of the draft capital. And if you look at Pete Carroll's time at USC, Pete Carroll don't give a fuck about like social issues. Pete Carroll don't care about nothing.
No.
And that's really where I think he's going to go, especially like if I'm Watson. Do you want to throw to Michael Thomas or do you want to throw to Lockett and Metcalf? And I'm looking at Watson's game. Watson isn't a West, like he can play it, but he's not a West Coast
Right.
quarterback.
He's not.
He's a move guy. He's a bootleg guy. He can play in the pocket, but where he's special is extending plays, and he's got the arm to hit 50, 60, 70 yards down the field.
Right.
You got two burners, one who can be the possession guy, and like, yeah, their defense is awful, but if they're scoring 35 a game, they're not going to care. And all of a sudden that defense will look better because they're scoring 35 a game. So if I'm Watson, I'm going to Seattle.
Makes
like,
too much
it's a
sense.
harder division, but it's not going to be that hard of. I don't think that's going to be a harder division for the long term.
Makes
I
too
think the
much
Rams
sense.
have a short window. I think Arizona is not looking good.
Man.
And San Francisco, I mean, Garoppolo is a weakness, and we have no idea what Trey Lance is. So, like, that's my theory. Am I selfishly hoping for that because I don't want to have to stop being a Saints fan and change these damn logo colors? Yeah. But I also actually think, like, if I'm Deshaun and I'm a businessman, that's the best business decision. I'm also trying to get out of the South, like, in general, as quick as you can, just from a media coverage, like Houston and New Orleans, like, just from a media perspective, that's too close. You're going to get into the same trouble. Those masseuses can come over. Like, stuff can still get out about you, and you can have these problems again. I want to be as geographically far from where I got in trouble as possible. Even if I'm going to do the same shit, the freaks over here don't know what I was doing over there. Again, not okay. Anything that he did, I'm talking about from his perspective. Fuck that dude. I just want to over clarify that. But
I get it.
But if I'm the decision maker and I'm putting myself in that position, that's how I would see it. So hopefully Deshaun will save the Saints from themselves. And this will be the, God, who was that linebacker that we all loved from Alabama that the 49ers took, fucking hung up on us and we got Ramcheck?
Oh, Foster.
Yeah. Hopefully this is another one of those.
Yeah.
And we're all like, hey, baby, you up? How you doing? And then click. And it turns out catfish.
Goodbye. That worked out perfectly.
It did. So that's really where we're at with stuff. Like I said, man, before, really appreciate you having on. Had to get you and Adam both on here another time. Really enjoy having somebody to talk, Saints football with and some of the social shit. Although I think we're all fucking exhausted about talking the social shit.
Right.
And I know you're a big politics and history guy. So,
yeah.
Like I said before,
you want to talk foreign policy?
That's what this channel is for. It's called Ranting and Raving because I got a lot of thoughts, a lot of opinions, and a lot of interests, and I want to talk about them. So,
a little history, I can dip and dab, depending on the topic.
Yeah, we can definitely chop it up on some other stuff. I really appreciate you coming on, man, and at least for the immediate time being, I'm still gonna say who dat and hope that things can start to look better and these dudes stop pissing us off.
Please, it's free agency week, baby. It's gonna be fun.
Yay.